Since recorded history, humanity has been interested in what lies beyond our skies. Unknown lights, strange crafts, and little green men. As of late, the Unidentified Arial Phenomenon, or UAP, has been in the forefront of not just the public's interest, but also the United States and the world government. A new government organization, the UAP Task Force, has been formed to investigate these reports. Since the alleged crash of a UFO in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947, we all want answers. No matter what the convention we attend, time after time, our team has been asked if we investigate UFOs. And my answer has always been the same. If you saw one last night, will it be there again tonight? Did it land? Is there any physical evidence? No? Then this just becomes another plot point on the map. Until now. The CAPS team has undertaken its most extensive project yet, in a proactive search to not only locate one of these phenomena for ourselves, but to literally call one down to us. The idea for this project came to me in 2021 at the Michigan Paracon. Angela Perrin led a group of attendees out into the parking lot to link our consciousnesses together and reach out into the cosmos and ask for a sign that there was more out there. Although her technique is not the same, this idea led me into researching the CE5 protocols of Dr. Stephen Greer. CE5 stands for Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, or Self-Initiated Encounters. Dr. Greer created a protocol that is designed to help you or your group make contact and ask these otherworldly beings to come forward and make contact with you. Could there be a better location to make contact than our home state of Wisconsin? The state with not one, not two, but 3 cities that claim to be the UFO capital of the world.
I'm Bill Johnson. I'm from Menominee. I taught at Stealth for 34 years and retired a few years ago. And I've had a sort of unique personal experience with Elmwood and UFOs. And so I'm going to tell you about that. So this is just going to be about Elmwood and the history of UFOs in Elmwood, or I'd like to call them aerial phenomena. Okay? I was a field investigator for APRO, A-P-R-O, and that is the Aerial Phenomenon Research Organization based out of Tucson, Arizona. about 8 years ago, and I didn't come here every year since way years ago. But about 8 years ago, I came to UFO days, and I asked, I just decided to ask a young lady at the information booth, why do they call it UFO days? And she said, I don't know. You want to buy a T-shirt? How about a button? You know? And she said, I'm just selling these things. I don't know. So I thought, So I started walking around and I talked to people on the street. They were saying, well, I don't know, it had something to do with some old cop in town. I don't know, I wasn't born there. I was like, wow,
this is George Wheeler's sighting. He was a cop in the town cop in Elmwood, and he was a former New York State trooper and a World War II fighter pilot, so he had no reason to lie about anything. He had seen a UFO earlier, and about a year earlier than this, and it was about 11 o'clock one night. He was on duty and he seen saw a glow, and he assumed it was a fire at the top of Tunnel Hill, which is this hill. On arriving, he discovered a strange lit object, and you got to remember, before I get too far in, this was just a little hole. There was none of this. Over here was a sighting. It actually is quarry now, but it was hayfield. He discovered a strange lit object, which he estimated was about 500 feet distance, hovering about 100 feet off the ground. It was about 250 feet in length and bigger than the size of a two-story house. And there was, he could see there was something rotating, look like a turbine in there, and a long black appendage hanging down. There was, there's 6 bluish white lights with window portholes on the side that he could see shadows as if someone was moving inside. There was an open panel in the middle. That's where I seen the turbine going. Wheeler could see inside. It was revolving. It had fin-like parts. And if you ever get a picture, it describes it. There's a light on top that was so bright that he couldn't stare at it. And he actually, that's when he opened his door and put his hand on his pistol and it zapped him, and that was it. Before he headed up here, he called Gail Helmer, the dispatcher, and reported it. And he come up here and they couldn't get him on the dispatch, couldn't get him to respond. And that's when he called Paul Fredrickson, who was a nursing home manager located right below the hill. He called him. He looked and saw an orange glow for about 10 seconds and it was gone. Officer Wheeler's wife, listening to the police scanner from home, heads up Tunnel Hill to look for her husband. And a farmer was coming back from town, come upon Wheeler's car sitting in a lane of traffic. He found a driver's side door open with Wheeler unconscious laying in the front seat. He aroused him, tried to sit him up, but he slumped back down. His face was pale. He said he had been struck not by a car but by a UFO. He was taken home. Next morning he was taken to the hospital, and he was in the hospital for not very long, and then he come back home, and then he was taken back in and he died within a year later because he had constant headaches that he couldn't get rid of from this. His car, there was a mechanic that had just moved in town a couple months before this, worked at a local filling station, and he told me the story himself. He said just 2 days before this, I went home from work and told my wife, we got to move out of this town, everybody here's nuts. And he said 2 days later I was called back. I went into work and the boss said, you got to go get George's squad carts up by the quarry. He goes, well, what's wrong with it? It was zapped by a UFO. He said, I called my wife and said, we're leaving, we're moving. All the spark plugs and points and starter were all fried on it, like they were welded. And it was only in there like 2 or 3 weeks before that for service. So it was kind of weird, but he just chalked it up to high voltage surge. He said he didn't. 3 days later, 3 guys dressed in black from the government come and they wanted them parts, and they had already taken them to the scrapyard. And he said, I knew there was something going on. When they got so mad, I thought they were going to kill me. He said, I knew then that this, he didn't say stuff, he used a different word, was real. Around Elmwood, if you see one, I've seen mine. You know, there's literally hundreds of sightings around. Most of them people don't know.
From Elmwood, we travel south to the second city that claimed the title of UFO capital, Dundee, where there's another festival dating back to 1989. UFO Days was co-founded by the late Bill Benson, owner of Benson's Hideaway, the world-famous UFO-themed bar on the shore of Long Lake. Bill witnessed a UFO in his youth and dedicated the rest of his life to gathering and sharing stories of alien encounters and other bizarre phenomenon happening around the Dundee area.
Okay, so we're here at Benson's Hideaway over at Long Lake, and as you can see, Long Lake is right here. This is the area where a lot of UFOs are seen. Otherwise, Dundee Mountain is right there. That's where the vast majority of the UFOs are seen. When asked why so many UFOs are seen up there, he said he believed there's a pyramid buried underneath.
You know the old saying, when in Dundee. So Derek and myself made our way to the top of Dundee Mountain and spent an afternoon with our eyes peeled to the skies in the hopes of having a sighting of our own. Finally, further south is Belleville, which, like Elmwood, has its own claims of UFO sightings with police backing. In January of 1987, several people, including law enforcement, reported seeing mysterious lights in the sky. Belleville also holds a yearly festival with a parade in honor of its out-of-this-world history. But these are not the only sightings of UFOs in Wisconsin. Not by a long shot.
It's a famous case where Colonel Wendell Stevens went and actually investigated the case in Colfax, Wisconsin, and there's a police officer named Mark Coltrane. And yeah, he was out on duty one day outside of Colfax, and he was sitting in his car listening to the radio, eating lunch, and then he noticed this metallic thing in the sky zigzagging towards him. He thought it was really interesting, so he happened to have his camera right beside of him, and hopped out of the car and was trying to take a series of photographs of it while it was zigzagging. It was hard. Some of them you can kind of see where you didn't see it. Just kind of, I'll show you. But yeah, so he investigated that case and went to the area where he had his sighting and a series of photographs that he gave to Wendell. Here are the Wisconsin ones. Mark Coltrane.
1978.
And this one too is same case. But again, it's like zigzagging, you know, so you're gonna catch what you could off of it. But yeah, other than that, another big case. Eagle River.
In 1961 in Eagle River, Wisconsin, Joe Simonton, a plumber and part-time farmer, was having a late breakfast when he looked out the window and saw a round craft descend into his yard. Said it was about 30 feet wide, 12 feet high, and had all these little muffler-type rings around it. Now, Simonton had never given much thought to UFOs, so he wasn't frightened, he was more curious. Much to his credit, he walked outside to see this craft, and when he did, an opening appeared on it, like the trunk of your car opening up. And to the front came one of the inhabitants, the pilot, the alien, whatever it was. Simonton kind of peeked in and could see two other individuals, and they were all identical. Very short, wearing an odd outfit, and they had dark hair, dark eyes, dark skin. Simonton said they reminded him of small Italian men. Simonton watches them, and one of them comes to the front and he's holding a jug. Now Simonton realizes without any verbal communication that they want water. So he grabs the jug, goes back into his house, fills the jug up with water, comes back, hands it to the presumed leader, and when he looks inside, one of these things seems to be cooking something over a flameless type grill. Simonton, trying to get some communication going, says, you know, are you going to eat that? Trying to get something going. The leader goes over and grabs this, brings it back, and trades Simonton for the water, giving him several of these, what the media called alien pancakes. Very weird. So he trades them, the water, for these space pancakes. And then, when the trade is completed, the door shuts, you can't even tell it's there, and the craft flies off. Simonton had no idea that other people were seeing weird things in the sky around the same time as well. Simonton actually ate one of the pancakes, said it was the worst tasting pancake he'd ever had. He said, no wonder these things are so small. If this is what they're eating, they can't grow very big. Simonton didn't want to report it because he knew how it sounded, but it leaked out town. And you can imagine, after the story broke, thousands of people descended on his farm looking for those alien pancakes. Eventually it got to be so much that Project Blue Book, the US government looking into UFOs, sent Dr. J. Allen Hynek and a couple graduate students up from Illinois. They interviewed Simonton, thought he was a credible witness, didn't embellish or change his story at all, but they thought he was suffering from cabin fever, that he had maybe a waking dream of eating pancakes and imagining a UFO. Simonton, until the day he died, believed he had encountered something not of this earth. He was convinced that he had traded pancakes with some other extraterrestrial beings. And as of today, it remains one of the weirdest Wisconsin UFO stories that we have.
Well, we're on the west side of Madison, Wisconsin, right behind Hoyt Park, where I had my sighting back in October 19, 2012. And I was at my girlfriend's house, or apartment, excuse me, and it was right about sunset when I was leaving to my car, where it was parked right around here. And right when I got to my car, I just happened to look up into the sky, and I saw this black silhouette of a boomerang with 5 dim lights under it. It was white lights, but very dim, and solid black, like jet black. Didn't have any reflection on it. It was about 20 or 15 or 20 feet above the treetops, and it was dead silent. And then the fact that it was dead silent, like, shook me to my core, where, like, I should have heard a big sound after it being that low and that big. It was as big as a school bus, as wide and as long as a school bus. It's the length and width. But yeah, the fact that it was dead silent shook me to my core, jaw dropped, and that's where I kind of like started my mission of the UFO field.
You seen a UFO in Wisconsin?
Yeah, 2019 in Superior. It was, I got a YouTube video. Yeah, it was like one of those things. It was like a triangle shaped thing, you know, and I just happened to be looking up, smoking a cigarette, and I'm like, what's that? It looked like, it didn't make any sound or anything, and it didn't look like, it took me forever to, you know, try to process it, and as it went over, you could see it kind of like blacked out the stars behind it, you know, and it was just kind of came in, swooped, and then it was gone. In probably 30 seconds. My wife was there too, so ever since then I've been kind of into it.
I saw a UFO back way in, was it about 1980, 79, 80? Rush hour traffic on 94 coming back from Madison with my parents. And everything, people got out, it was crazy. You know where Moreland Road is, where like Brookfield exit? So you're going west out of the zoo interchange, if you know where Milwaukee County Zoo is. And we were driving eastbound, and we just came over to Moreland, which is then a big hill that goes down. Well, anyways, it's bumper to bumper, and all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I look, and I see this craft coming. And it's in the air, and the thing is like 3 football fields long. And it's flat. It reminded me of 2001 Space Odyssey. But he's sitting on the side, and there's no sound. And my dad's looking, and my dad's like, what's that, military? And people get out of the car, they're pointing at this. Now, this is at rush hour traffic.
traffic is stopped. People are getting out. Everyone's got their hand out the window pointing at this thing, right? So it keeps on going down, going east. And then traffic started going a little bit, because this is the thing that's funny. When people want to go someplace, like chase a UFO, they'll chase it and there's no rush hour traffic anymore. All of a sudden the traffic really started going, and the thing banked at the zoo interchange, and that's how you got to see the scale and the size. As it turned sideways, you saw that the actually was wedged up here and wider in the back, and they had a light on each corner. And it turned, and do you know what UND carbon looks like when the sunlight hits it? So carbon fiber. I know a lot about carbon fiber, and so anyway, you have the 12K, 3K, it's the weave pattern that you see, and then you have UND, which is that solid carbon, and you don't see the fibers in it. Anyway, it turned on its side, and I can relate to this now because I know that, the carbon fiber, and I was like, whoa, because it had a shine on it, or like a subtle sheen, but it was dull, and that's what UND looks like in the sunshine, and it's been sprayed down. Turned sideways, and that's when I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is gigantic as it's going across the highway. Because you could see the zoo interchange, which was, at the time it was 2 lanes going one way, 2 lanes going another way, and then you had the snake and everything was going across, and that looked like a bunch of little twisty coffee straws. That's how big it was. And it came across, and then all of a sudden it banked and it was flat again. And so our traffic is going towards 494, which is the bypass that goes south. And then you go, again, you'd have another south road, which takes you to Illinois. They call it the Rock Freeway. Anyway, all of a sudden it turned, and there was no motors on the back or anything. In like a Star Trek episode. Long story short, just as this is going on, just before it takes off, here come 2 F-15s from Mitchell International. They're just above the highway where I can see both pilots in there, like looking around, like going back and forth with their heads. As that thing does that, they hit the afterburners right at where 494 and the Rock Freeway exit do that, and they both hit their afterburners. I never saw an afterburner for F-15 at the time, and it was like boom, but that thing took off faster than they did. And theirs, when they took off, our car shook. You could feel the afterburner. That thing didn't move at all. The next day in the Journal Sentinel, we had this little article about that big about military maneuvers. It was the freakiest thing.
It was our next witness's story, though, that led us to this remote private airfield and the location of our team's first attempt at a CE-5 experiment and a night sky stakeout.
So, I guess the main experience I had was I was in a field and kind of near New London, and basically it was a group of us, and we were just kind of feeling out the energy in the field. And when it was my turn to go up and kind of feel out what was going there, I just felt in such a loving, calm place, and I was in a white room, and it was an alien encounter. And basically, there was 6 aliens. There was 3 in front, 3 behind, and there was one main guy in front of me, and a woman, one on my left ear. And basically, the woman was just like, it's okay, don't be scared, like, it's all good. And the guy was talking to me, and he's like, hey, we're here, we wanted to meet up with you, you're our family, and it's been a really long time, we're finally excited to meet you. And this whole time I was kind of freaking out, like, what's going on, like, it's crazy. But then I just kept hearing, it's okay, don't be scared, we're not going to hurt you, you're fine. And so that kind of settled me down. I was just like, wow, this is a crazy experience. And basically, when I was done with that experience, I was talking to the people in the group, and they were like, dude, you, like, almost levitated. Like, your energy was crazy. Like, you basically almost, like, floated off. And I was like, yeah, it felt great. Like, but it wasn't a bad thing at all. So, yeah. And then my other experience would be just seeing, like, an alien spacecraft. Basically, it was nighttime, and I was just looking at the stars, and it came in, but the way it came in, it was like no man-made craft could ever do that. Like, it was just so fast, and there was no flashing lights. There was like a typical plane would. It wasn't a satellite. Nothing of that sort. And it just kind of sat there, probably a couple miles up in front of me, and I was looking at it, and I was just like, I just felt a presence, like someone was in there. And yeah, I was just kind of like, hi, you know, I see you, and they're just like checking us out, kind of seeing what's out there. Just like a mutual, hello, we're here, we know you're here, I know you're there. And then it left. But the way it left, you couldn't, no man-made object can explain it. Like, it just beamed up basically, but so fast, like nothing that fast could happen. And it like faded out as it went up. And like I said, nothing could do that. There was no flashing lights, nothing. And yeah, that was really cool. And then the last experience I had was about when I was like 5. I was in my room with my brother. We were just kind of like having a sleepover, I guess, I don't know. And we were just looking out the window. It was, I would say, about dawn. And I just kind of was looking out, and I saw something approaching, and then I couldn't really tell what it was, and it was so fast it just came right up to the window. And it was just a super, super tiny, like, spacecraft. Just so tiny, just single seater, one person. And it was, I guess, like a flying saucer, but it was like the saucer part with rivets, and then there's a bottom kind of bubble, but it was metal, gray metal, and then the top bubble, which was like just glass or some clear material, and inside was an alien. And I can't remember most of the details of it. I mean, it's been a while, but I do remember just seeing a figure in there. I couldn't tell you if it was green or gray. It's kind of fuzzy. It was so long ago, but I just remember the craft. There's a being in there. I just kind of waved, said hello, like, yeah, I'm here, and then it just went again. And so fast. But this was the closest I've gotten. It was like right, like maybe 5 feet in front of me with the glass in between. But the one in the field, I felt like I was physically there. Like my body was in the field, but like my energy and my soul, everything, I was physically in the room with it. But yeah, that's my stories.
So, can you describe, like you did in there, what they looked like, the ones that you saw in the room?
Oh, yeah. So, the ones in the field, they were super tall, super skinny, lanky, I would say maybe 6 to 8 feet tall, and gray, just super, super skinny. They had white robes on, and if you look up the Star Wars, I think it's kimono, I'm not entirely sure, but I have a picture of it. They look basically exactly like that. So when you picture a stereotypical alien with big green head, small chin, it wasn't like that. It was like just a really narrow, kind of oval face, big eyes, small mouth. I couldn't really tell what the nose looked like. If it was just like little slits or something, maybe it's slight bridge, but yeah, just super, super tall and lanky, skinny. It wasn't a stereotypical alien, but gray, yeah.
My name is Angela Zabel. I am a teacher, coach, and a medium. And with that is a little bit different than I think a regular medium, possibly. But for me, I work with people when they have different experiences, different things they're coming in contact with, and I help them understand what it is. I just love what I do. And I also would just like to say that with mediumship and with everything here, when people are tapping in for doing ghost hunting, when they're doing for aliens, which I like to call them star nations, any of that, you're tapping into everything that's available. And it is all available to us anytime we want. We just have to put the intention out there of what we want to tap into. And for me, my wish, my hope is that everybody starts tapping into whatever is around them, because it is something that's expanding all of us at this time. So why we're here right now is this is a time where this area, I've experienced a lot of different activities with aliens, but as I call them, star nations. So for me, I look at it as these are beings that are coming from other universes that are coming in to say hello and to make contact with us. So it is an interesting concept. And a lot of times I've thought myself, like, is there really something out here? But when I've been here so many times, I've actually had the communication with those on the other side. And they've been full of nothing but love and compassion and have shared interviews, not interviews with me, but have shared information with me. And then also other times, sometimes it'll be where they're just communicating and a lot of their communication is telepathic. And other times they're out in the sky and you can see them popping in. You see ships pop in and out of the atmosphere and you'll see those bursts of light, and other times you'll see it's called the power up, where it'll just be very bright, almost like a bright light going on and out. And to me it's so fun to watch, and I hope all of you get to experience some of that tonight. So originally this is an airfield, and it was for ultralight, so it is a private airfield here. And with that, there's always been a lot of activity here, and a lot of activity, whether it's before, it was always a lot of regular aircraft. And during that time, there's always been a lot of other activity at the same time that a lot of people probably didn't even notice was there. And that's just the frequencies of being able to tap into what's around us. And here, it's basically another airstrip, but now it's for airstrips of people coming in from other universes to say hello, to land, to give information, to share information, and then move from here to show you there is more than what's just here in our world. So some of the things that have happened out here personally is there's been times where for me, I sense energy. I know it's there, and I kind of get a feeling, a calling to it. And there's different times I've been out here and I'll just get called to come out into the field. And the last time that happened for those of the alien or Star Nation aspect was I was called out to the field, and there happened to be, I think we had about 8 people here at the time. And they asked me to have people come out into the field. They were working with me telepathically to have people come out to the field, and they wanted each person one at a time to step out closer to them as they were, to put it away, they were landed in the field and they were communicating with the people that were walking out to them. So they would personally have the people walk up to where they were. They would instruct me as to where the people should walk to. And then as soon as the people got to the place they wanted them, they would tell me to have them stop. And then I would just say, "You're good." And then they would communicate with the people. And then when they were done, the person would walk back and they would ask for another person to step out with them. So each person was having their own experience with them. And I was able to watch each experience as it was different, but they would have me stay back and I would watch each of their experiences, but I didn't hear what they were saying to each person. But what I could hear instead was just the general message to each person, which was a lot of encompassing love and a lot of compassion. And also it was a feeling of they want to get to know us on such a deeper level, and to keep that communication going from now forward, and to expand that communication, and to make this a normal progression of knowing your neighbors, because they're our neighbors, and they want to have that interaction as you would a neighborhood. So Barnaby, how do you decide where you're going to put the cameras? Just your own intuitiveness, or?
Try it. Well, it depends what I'm doing. For today, I wanted to cover as much sky as possible.
Right.
Because if we're here to look at the sky, that's what I got to cover.
Right.
I also have to cover all the equipment here on both regular and night vision, so that I can see it in both spectrums during the day and the night.
Right.
And then I have to have enough audio that I actually can hear what's going on. So I have certain cameras that are set up just to run audio even when it's going to be pitch black out here.
Great.
Yeah.
I mean, is it just random placement to get a view of the sky, or is it?
Pretty much, yeah. Well,
Okay.
that one's aimed back at us from farther away. This one is aimed straight out, and then this one is aimed down at the table.
Okay.
That one is aimed at this way and then up in the sky that way. So they're set up to run the sky views
Okay.
at the same time as covering us for what we're doing. And then in case something happens here, that one's back also, they're covering us from behind. And then mine is on my head, so it covers where I'm doing, and I have audio from wherever we are.
Right.
So this is what we got here. All right, so here we have our flight radar. So this is about where we are, and this will show you anything that is in the area for flight. So there's no airplanes or anything in our vicinity right now. This one is satellites. You can see there's one, that's the moon. Doesn't look like there's any satellites going overhead right now. So that's all clear. And this is negative of what's here. So this is actually behind us. This is actually in front of us. We have a walkie-talkie to pick up RF signals on there, any kind of things that come through. Actually, I should put this on scan. So that's on scan. That'll pick up any frequencies in case we get anything. We have a radiation detector in case anything comes through there. Anything I believe it's less than 50 CPM is going to be just normal, so nothing to worry about. And we have a spectrum analyzer over here. That'll pick up any kind of spectrum, any RF or signals that are generated out there. We have eddy running for air pressure, humidity, temperature, and EMF, vibration, any of that stuff. We have an EMF meter, and we have our tri-field meter here, but we found out that the tri-field meter actually is picking up the Wi-Fi. So unless we use it out in the field somewhere away from the table, this one is just going to be picking up that. But the rest of this stuff should not be affected by any of that. So we also have our laser pointer in case we need to point at things. Yep. And we have night vision cameras, security cameras set up, all of our regular cameras over here. We have a telescope set up in case we want to look at anything that's there for extended periods of time.
So just kind of what I'd like to do is just take a moment and just kind of take a deep breath, connect to the ground, connect to the earth, and connect to then everything up, all our divinity, everything in the sky, and just take a deep breath and connect to all of it. Kind of feel the energy running through you, and just making that whole circle, knowing that we are connected. As you're feeling it, it's almost like, so we've done this before with the moving your arms like this. Can you do this? Move your arms like this to bring the energy, but then feel. Can you start feeling the difference in your chest? Kind of feel the energy as you're moving your arms. You're feeling that energy flow and feel that move. We're going to ask them to come in on that energy field and bringing that into us. We're going to ask them to join us, ask them to physically show themselves, and keep feeling the energy as you're going up and down. You can feel the energy moving. Ask them to come in and join this energetic field we're creating. And also we're creating a safe space for them to enter, a safe space for them to enter. Asking them to show themselves in ways that can be picked up on the equipment. Because they have connected many times to us on the energetic level, and now we need them on the equipment tonight. We're going to take one deep breath in again. We're going to send this out for them to join us. Also to make it fun. This is about the fun.
Battery's charged. A lot of energy.
So just keep holding that tonight to ask them to keep coming in and to show themselves. So keep asking them to come in and show. It's a safe space. It's a safe space.
Satellite? Do you see it? Oh, where'd it go? Oh, there it is.
Oh yeah. Up there.
Don't point at it.
Right there.
Yeah.
Right there, see it.
That's why I said it just moved up there.
A satellite?
Yeah. I don't know. Or a star.
It could be.
It should be that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be one satellite right there. Yeah.
Well, that's why I looked up there, because I saw it there and turned it around. It'd be over there.
That could be a satellite.
Where'd that airplane go? Because I just saw
To the-
like a
right
little
there.
red
It's
light
right
up
on,
there.
right on top of the trees.
Down there? Okay, because I just saw something
yep.
up there.
Oh, yeah.
There's two. What was that big crack? Oh, zapper.
Yeah, she.
I don't care what it was. I was just like, why was there a crack back there? Jeez. So that's a plane. Yep.
Yeah, but I just saw, I can see something right there, and it's moving really fast. Now it's over there. It was over here. But it only shows up as a light.
So a lot of things, and Bruce, I don't know if you're as familiar with it, but a lot of times you might see where all of a sudden you'll see a flash, and then it'll like blow out and another flash. And
I
that's
can
when
see
they're-
it moving.
a lot of times when they
I
come
literally
across
can
the
see the
atmosphere,
thing
you'll see
moving.
that.
That's
Other
too
times you'll
fast.
see a
It
light
may
go,
could be a
and all of
plane.
sudden it'll make a
It's
sudden
right,
change
it's
in
right
its
there.
direction.
See that little cloud?
Or it'll
It's
get
up from.
really bright, like a big
I know where to
flash.
go.
Little cloud.
It was right there last I saw it. Now it's.
I asked them different
And it
times,
looked like a
"Hey,
cloud,
can
but
you
it's.
show me
They're
that?"
not
And then
moving.
it kinda like-
It was a red light over
right
here.
there.
Yeah, I just saw one over.
Where?
Right here.
I don't see it. Oh, that's it. Yeah, there's a light right there too.
What is that light?
That's
Well,
a
if we
laser.
knew.
There's another one there,
Yeah, there's one there.
but that wasn't the one I was. Well, I don't think that's the one I was watching.
So it's like just kind of looking for lights and seeing if any of
It's
them are
too bright yet to see a lot of clear stuff.
That one's got an extra light flashing next to it.
It looks like a plane.
Okay, yeah, straight ahead here.
Yeah, this one. So don't put that up there again. You just had that up there.
Is that an airplane?
But that's not on.
Did you
Well,
see
that
those
airplane
cloud light up?
is going there.
Look at it's like shooting into the cloud.
Did you see that?
It's like shooting it's not me. Mine's locked off.
It's
Up
It's like
higher.
shooting a green laser out of it.
right. That cloud is lighting up.
Up there higher, right?
No.
No.
Yeah, like
Yeah, I see that little light. the
Yeah, it
little
was like
light.
shooting
Yeah,
lights
there's
out of
But
it.
there was a higher one, and that other one that I saw came from over there and went that way.
yeah, there's
That
there was,
looked like a
light-
cloud
one
going
of the
that way.
clouds, like it lit up. I'm like,
Yep.
there's no.
Yeah, it's like
That's
shooting
what I
lights
saw
out of
over
it.
here.
There's
Whoop.
over here and one over here.
Ooh, yeah. What is that?
I see it.
That's an airplane. Oh, this one, yeah, that's an airplane.
Yeah, coming at us.
He's coming back. He
Oh,
just took off. Well, actually, those are at the airport, but
There's green
there's
right
three
on
of them
it.
at the airport. But it's not. Oh, it's loading. Where is it? There it is.
I can show you.
Yeah.
Not in the windows.
Let's wait and see.
It's right up here.
Stuff. Coming closer?
Is that a UFO? Is that an airplane?
I don't know. There's three of them at the airport, and they're all piled up on top of each other. I don't know that one left.
This one
There's a big one
Oh,
coming
he's
straight
coming.
towards us.
Okay,
Yeah.
now he is. Yeah.
going to Minneapolis.
He's a little late.
Yeah,
on there.
he's going a little slow on
Yeah.
here, but yeah, that's a big guy coming.
right over there.
What, that way from the airplane?
It was off to the where the airplane is and the next two stars.
Oh!
The flash?
Oh!
Yeah. Yep.
That's the flash.
I saw that.
There was another star there, and then that one.
Yeah.
Oh,
there
oh,
is
it's
another
moving.
one.
Satellite?
No.
Satellites
No,
don't
there's
usually
no
do the
satellite.
flash.
Yeah.
There's that one on there.
There's
Way
two.
over there.
Satellites don't usually do the
Oh, I don't think that's a satellite.
No, that wasn't there. That should be over there. And then over there.
Satellites don't.
The one going over the top of us right now is an
That's an
airplane.
airplane.
That's an airplane.
Where is the other thing now? I lost it.
That was over there.
Those two stars right there.
in that area.
Oh, right
Oh,
there.
there. Yep. Oh,
So that's not
it's
a
moving.
satellite?
It blinked after you hit it with the laser. Hit
Yeah.
it again.
What is it?
There.
Oh!
It better not be because you.
That's so cool.
Maybe. It could be that other plane that's.
No, that was so bright.
That's really
That
bright.
is not a plane. There's no way.
Yeah. Now it's a red plane. I just changed it to a red plane. Why did it turn red when I touched
No,
it?
that's
You crashed
way
it.
over here.
That plane doesn't do that.
Did you hear that? Poof. Well, that's behind because look how long it took him to get over here.
Yeah, but he's not over here. Well, Appleton's got to be straight ahead.
Yeah,
'cause
kinda
that's where he
straight
just
ahead.
took off.
Appleton Airport's got to be like right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit south of there.
So was that a plane or no?
Undetermined.
I don't know.
There's a plane that's going that way, but he should be, well,
They don't flash like that.
yeah.
A plane doesn't flash.
No, a plane doesn't flash like that, and it would have had lights on it. And we can't see those
There's a
lights.
satellite just coming in over here,
Yeah, that wasn't a satellite.
but I got no other satellites crossing.
That was a big flash.
Actually, that would be. Which way am I looking? Yeah, this would be in front of
Here
us.
east. Yeah.
So yeah, there should be
Right
a
in the
satellite
middle.
coming in over here.
See, but if that was a plane, it would have had more lights on it that would have been flashing, and it didn't
And it
have
probably
that.
would be that high already.
No.
And it wouldn't only flash after you flashed it.
Right.
It would crash after you flashed.
Where are you?
It would be down here now.
But even
Or-
even the satellites, when they do hit like the moon or anything, they flash a little, but
Yeah, but
not
that was
not
way
bright.
bright.
Yeah, they
That
you
was
can they
way
like
too
just
bright
get a
for a
little bit of
satellite.
they get a little bit of light. They don't flash. That's a
That was clear as day,
that was flash.
and that was not a flash.
No.
That was
From
them
a
throwing the
satellite.
high beams on and say, hey, turn them bright ass lights on. That
We need more of those.
Yeah, we need more of those. We need more of
That
those.
was great.
That was bright. That was very bright. Definitely need more of those.
Did it just get dimmer?
No.
That's
Making
not a satellite.
Making it go off track.
Good.
Come here.
So it's not a satellite.
Why does it seem to be going like this?
Like it's curving?
Yeah. Why is it going this way? What's the matter with
turning
it?
around to
Cold.
come find
It's
us.
cold.
Because it was
Come a little bit closer. I'm all alone, and the night is so long.
Come back.
oh, I see it.
What's that?
Text. I don't know. And that was
Whoa,
facing
did
this
you
way,
just
wasn't
see
it?
that
Anywhere
bright
near the phone.
flash out of the ground?
Yeah, right over the
Right over the tree line. Yeah. That was super bright.
Like over here?
No,
Right
to
above
the
the
left.
tree line.
Yeah, no, by that clump
right
of
there.
trees.
Up
Right here?
Yep,
Yeah,
right above that.
that it was like so bright.
You're supposed to be taking notes.
What time?
10:26 p.m.
What time to look at the clip?
10:26 p.m. We got a couple cameras aimed in that direction, so.
Yeah, we should have checked the time. Well,
It
shortly
was way brighter than any flash I've seen so far. And it was big.
Maybe a firework.
It was not a firework.
Not that low.
Well,
No,
where
it
would
was
the firework
pure
be?
white.
Sky.
If it's down behind there.
No, but it
Have you
didn't
seen
have
fireworks
any,
at my house?
strays off of it. It was just a pure white, like,
Yeah, well,
blob.
there's those ones that just start banging. Shoot them off at my house all the time.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of lights going on, a lot of movement everywhere. Lots of flashes.
Well, I mean, aside from the crap, I don't know what else we expect to see.
Unless they come walking through the field.
Come a little bit closer. Did you see that?
I saw it.
I didn't see that.
I saw that one.
Did you see it?
Yes.
Did you see it?
I saw that one.
It was a bright red flash.
Yeah.
Oh, it was red this time?
Yeah.
The first one was pure white.
It was right above my laser.
It went right above and it flashed. I saw it.
Do it again. I want to see it.
Yeah, I saw it. It also went, ooh, it went flash.
What time is it?
10:30 something. 10:38.
There you go.
There it is again.
That was white though, wasn't it? What I saw was white.
That was
Shouldn't
white, what
be
I
a
saw.
plane.
It shouldn't be a plane.
Yeah, we hope it shouldn't be a plane.
That wasn't what you saw?
No, it was way bigger than that.
That moved.
Yeah, that one moved.
The first time I saw it,
It was
it
over
was
here.
the first time it was. Come on. First time it was like right here.
Yeah.
Now it was like right here.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
There it is again.
You see those?
Now it's back over there.
Yeah, it moved back.
We didn't get a spaceship to land, but there were several flashes of light in the sky and some lights that we couldn't identify as aircraft, satellite, or stars using any of our trackers. We also didn't pick up any signals or energy fluctuations on any of our equipment. So, it's been 2 days since we were out to Angela Zabel's property, and yesterday myself and Ma went to Green Bay, and we had really dizziness for most of the morning, and we're not really sure, like neither one of us really feels sick or anything, and I'm not sure why. We asked Angela about it, and she said that I asked Angela about it, and she said there's a couple of different things that happened kind of right as you were leaving. Right after you got into the van and your mom was in the car, she went back to lock up the pavilion, and she said she felt something come up to her. It didn't feel very friendly, and she told it wasn't welcome here and it needed to go. It felt like it wanted to hang around for a while, yet I told it needed to go. I then felt it leave. So she says that she thinks that it kind of followed us, but we have pretty decent barriers in our house and stuff, and so she feels that we're okay and that we have spirit guides and stuff protecting us. So yesterday, like I said, we were really dizzy and didn't really feel very good, just from dizziness, very disoriented and stuff. Rez did not have this feeling, but the both of us did. We stayed a little bit longer than Rez did at the property until about 1 a.m. He left around 11:30, I believe. But today that was Friday night. Today is Saturday morning. It is 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's not morning. But I don't know if you can see this or not, but right here, my cheek is very swollen, and it's very tender to the touch, all right in here. And I don't know, I mean, you can see the difference here. This is not sticking out over here, and this is definitely protruded all the way from about here down to here. And I mean, there's definitely, you can definitely see something in there. Whether or not this is connected or has anything to do with what we experienced or may not have experienced at Angela Zabel's property, I don't know. But it's part of the documentation of the research that we do. So that's where we're at right now. So 2 days after our field experiment with CE5 on Angela Zabel's property, we encountered dizziness yesterday for the majority of the morning, up until mine had subsided at about by about like 3 p.m. And today it is 2 o'clock on Sunday, 2 days after we were on the property there, and now I have this. So.